business. And I'm one of your hosts, Ruby Thomas, and this is Mr. Alvin Thomas. We are here to share with you the benefits, those who are in small businesses and entrepreneurships, those who are creating your own hustle from home, how cryptocurrency is changing lives in business and businesses, major companies, but also around the world, how entrepreneurs like yourself who are, literally mom and pop shops and, service from home, home-based businesses, are beginning to embrace new currencies as a way for stabilizing themselves. And I know a lot of people feel like, this is a really big subject. Mr. Thomas, wanted to at least give you a moment to say hello. How are you today?
Doing good, doing good. Can't wait to enjoy this conversation because I believe it's necessary. I really do.
Totally. I mean, we as small business owners need to stay in the know about as much of the economy and finance as we can so that we can stay ahead of the game and take things to the next level. This is why we have P2G Crypto in Your Business. So P2G Networks is a platform that teaches introduction to cryptocurrency to the community, small businesses, nonprofits, and organizations that that may be going through financial transition right now. Now, what that means is that there's an economy change, a shift in financing in our world, around the world, not just in our country, that's happening. And how you transition or how you move through that transition is determined by your knowledge that allows you to take advantage or not this new income stream. So for those who are joining us from YouTube, we thank you so much for being with us. Right now, we would like to share some information in a very organized manner. We are going to be pulling up documentation and some videos to share with you a little bit of to explain the order of what we're trying to explain and share with you all where we can be found for more learning, how you can get properly trained, and even get the resources that can start you in your business introducing cryptocurrency to communities you're in, and even finding the people in your community that has it and wants to do business with you. So how does that sound, Mr. Thomas?
That sounds wonderful because I'd love to start sharing cryptocurrency with the local businesses. This way, crypto funding can stay in the community longer.
Exactly. So with that being said, I'm going to ask Mr. Thomas to do something that we take very seriously. We take seriously our disclaimer to this with our platform. So if you don't mind running that first, thank you.
Sure can.
Please note, this is a recorded workshop and your consent and participation is needed. The recording will not be shared with the public unless otherwise stated, in which you will be informed and your consent required. The recording is for our own personal development and record. If you have not already done so, please help us keep our records of attendance by sending your email address in the chat to the host directly. You can use any email you like, however, a Gmail will be required to sync to our Pennies to Gold calendar or receive worksheets. Most importantly, P2G Networks is an educational and networking platform. We are not financial advisors. We are a network of individuals who took an interest in the industry of money, then took that knowledge and came together to put it into practice for ourselves, and since we believe, each one, teach one, we educate on and share what we have found. The education is free. Your participation in any platform or business opportunity that we share is optional. Finally, remember to always practice courtesy in this space. Please mute your mics while others are demonstrating or speaking. Raise your hand to interrupt if you have a question, by clicking on the reactions button in your control panel or by typing your questions in the chat, and your questions and concerns will be answered as soon as possible. Now that we have set the proper expectations, please locate your reactions button and give me a thumbs up to show that you acknowledge and agree. Please note, this is a recorded workshop and your consent and participation.
There's my
Yes,
thumbs
I
up.
can hear you now.
Okay. Well, I'm giving my thumbs up and I think we're ready to go. So for those who have the link for tonight, we invite you to come onto the platform. If you would like to acquire the link, this will be available at the p2gnetworks.com website. You'll be able to log in and to initiate your membership for P2G. If you would like to just receive the link so that you can join us, you're more than welcome. We can get that to you immediately. So you can join in the room, ask your questions. And if you're on YouTube, we ask that you like, subscribe, and don't forget to hit the bell for notifications when we come on with new information about what's going on out here in the world that you can take advantage of. We love you guys very much, and we hope that you stay and stick with us. So we're not done yet. Let's get started. Our first question is always going to be, because this is blockchain based, we're going to start with the first part of our introduction to blockchain. Most people got introduced to blockchain through something called Bitcoin, correct?
Absolutely.
So, and Bitcoin is a cryptocurrency. It's a way for people to exchange goods, for say exchange value, correct?
Yeah, but an assumed value, right? Yeah.
Okay. When you say assume, talk to me.
Well, for it to have value, it has to have a use. And then people have to believe in the use that it has. So,
Well, what's the use of Bitcoin?
well, speaking from my point of view, Bitcoin is an asset. It is a digital asset without any question, but it's also a way of exchanging goods and services.
Okay, so I want to make sure that we're very clear. If Mr. Thomas says a use,
Yes.
people are using it for the purpose. How are they using it?
People are using it for investment sake. People are using it for leverage. They're even in El Salvador, they're using it I'm sorry, not El Salvador, Honduras, they're using it as currency. Right
El Salvador is correct.
El Salvador?
Yeah.
They're using it as
And
currency.
Honduras now. And that's something that we have to look at. It has become an alternative to fiat dollar, correct? Now, the
Yeah,
fiat
definitely.
dollar is something we just trade. I'll give you a little bit more information about how it works on the inside. So as you already have digital money, we already got digital money, right?
Yes,
Already
we
a
do.
thing. So we don't have to worry about that. But that's not cryptocurrency. And I'm excited because you're going to find out why this is very different. It's different than the digital US dollar or other digital fiat dollars, physical into digital numbers, because this will give you an opportunity to not need someone to verify. Now, what do I mean by that? I like video. I love giving examples that are
You like
explained by video.
Are you going to do a video right now?
So I think
Okay.
we are. So
I'm
let's
ready.
get started. I'm one of those people that try to explain it, but best, I'd rather show you than tell you. Let's get popping. This is one of my favorites. It's kind of short, sweet, and to the point. So I'll get it back to the beginning and let you guys see how it works out. Give me 1 second. I don't know if I put the sound on it. All right, here we go. Let's get it popping.
When you want to buy something normally, using your normal bank card, this is what happens. I give my card details to the shop asks the bank if I'm good for the money. The bank checks its records to see if I've got enough in my account. If I do, it lets the shop know. It updates its records to show the movement of money from my account to the shop's. Oh, and it takes a little cut for its trouble. Now, if you wanted to remove the bank from that system, who else would you trust to keep those records and not alter them or cheat in any way? Well, I wouldn't trust you. I wouldn't trust you. In fact, I wouldn't trust any single person, but I might trust everyone. The idea is you don't have a central record of transactions. Instead, you distribute many, many copies of this ledger around the world. each owner of each copy records every transaction. So, to buy something using cryptocurrency, I give the shop my details. The shop asks all the bookkeepers if I'm good for the money. The bookkeepers all check their records to see if I have enough. If I do, they tell the shop, and then all update their records to show the movement of money. So there's no way that a forged transaction can make it in. If I try to alter a ledger, it won't match all of the other copies, and it gets rejected. Oh, and one of them, at random, will be given a reward of some newly created cryptocurrency. This is how cryptocurrencies work. And remember, all of these bookkeepers, all of these ledgers, they're not actually people, they're computers. Lots of computers.
So
What do developers build on the same grid?
we have a lot of opportunity to get or to remove the middleman in our finances,
Yes,
allowing us to take control, it seems.
Wait to see what you get.
I'm excited. Because what I saw was now I could do business with my customers instead of doing business with people I ain't never met who tell my money is good or bad or whatever, right? Mr. Thomas, you with us?
yes, I am.
Okay.
Just have to fix something.
Okay, so look, what the idea is that when you do a transaction currently, as a small business, we may not even notice this because we're constantly moving through to the next thing, just trying to make sure we keep up and current with what's popular. But you know, something that's not a part of our normal activity, something we haven't been trained to do.
What's that?
We haven't been trained to find the opportunities that are out there for the finances, period. So we never realized that we are a part of a larger financial community. We kind of just are staying in our lane, trying to sell our products and goods, do our marketing, keep up with our product and our cost and our cost and sales analysis and wow, and more and more and more and more. And guess what? We end up just making ends meet, not knowing that there's an opportunity to really scale up our customer relationship, not knowing there's an opportunity to change the terrain of which we live in the financial domain. What does that mean? I know it sounds like a lot of hubbub. It just means that it takes you out of being a financial consumer, okay? We are financial consumers if we have a POS or ATM or even a cash register. You're a financial consumer. Who do you consume? You consume cash from the bank. You consume the service of cash transitions from your ATM and your POS owner.
POS.
They charge you before they give you your money, before people that you get to pay you. This is how it works. Customer comes in the door. Customer says, I have my debit card, credit card. You say, okay, no problem. They swipe their card. That banking institution gets the funding. They take a piece off and then they get you, then you get yours after they get theirs. Does that sound right?
That's a little unfair because I don't remember the bank coming in opening the doors any morning.
Who made the sale in your shop? Who made the sale in your business? But who gets the lion's share? Now I want you to think about your bank. When you put your money in the bank, basically it sits there, but it sits there at a cost. See, the bank charges fees, don't they?
Absolutely.
They're basically your middleman. They say, okay, you bring your stuff to us, we'll allow you to pay your bills. We're only going to charge you a little bit a month, and you just have to do these things. If you want to keep it free, you got to do this kind of business, these in and outs that cost you over transactions. My people, when your money is sitting there, is it doing any work for you?
Not at all.
No, it's not. And isn't that tragic? Because your bank is constantly earning on your finances. I don't know how many people know that, but that is exactly how banks make their money. They make money from the money you install with your business and our goods, in our small accounts, personal accounts, and the money that's in there allows them to write up debt to other people and say, hey, we'll loan your money, no problem. We got plenty of money. They just made the deposit. And not only that, I can loan you 10 times as much. Now, mind you, this has been the history of the banks. As of recently, the banks don't even need your money to make money. They can do those loans without even holding one dime in the bank account. So I have to ask you a question. If they're giving your physical money that you put in the bank away, and by the time you come back next week with a disaster or something you really need, and you need to take a large chunk of your money out, and then you find out that your limit to remove money is limited, or it has to be over a longer amount of time, how are you feeling about that bank? How do you feel about access to your finances? Well, the one thing I want to share with you is that cryptocurrency gives you direct access 24 hours to your finances. And they are transferable to whichever fiat or currency you may need. Only it's not being held in a third party. It's completely controlled by you. Let's go take a look why. I like videos. We're going to share with you something called an innovation called the blockchain. This is for the businesses who want to understand, well, why would I do this? It's so unethical. It's just not, it's so dangerous. It's so dangerous. I could lose everything. Well, I want to share something. Something called a run on a bank I don't think we've ever heard of. What would happen if every person who had money in a bank physically turned up at the front door to remove their money at one time? What if every customer of the bank came to come get their physical cash in the bank? What do you think would happen?
That bank would close down that same day. That's what I believe,
They
honestly.
would shut their doors because they could not handle, they would not have enough actual physical cash to give you.
What's funny about that is, by law, they're only required, and that may have changed recently, they're only required to hold 10% of their holdings within the bank in physical cash.
Exactly.
And I don't know
So
if that's
get
still
that.
on.
Post-pandemic times, that means today, the laws are changing in the banks. You should really check your statements. If you haven't really read them and read through them, check for any disclaimer changes. Look for updates to the policies for withdrawal, because that's the big part. We want you to be vigilant, to be aware, so that you can know what the value of this is. Let's talk about the blockchain. And we'll explain what the blockchain is right now.
When you vote, have you ever wondered whether your ballot is actually counted? If you meet someone online, how do you know they're who they say they are? When you buy coffee that's labeled fair trade, what makes you so certain of its origin? To be sure, really sure, about any of those questions, you'd need a system where records could be stored, facts could be verified by anyone, and security is guaranteed. That way, no one could cheat the system by editing records, because everyone using the system would be watching. Systems like this are on the horizon, and the software that powers them is called a blockchain. Blockchains store information across a network of personal computers, making them not just decentralized, but distributed. This means no central company or person owns the system, yet everyone can use it and help run it. This is important because it means it's difficult for any one person to take down the network or corrupt it. The people who run the system use their computer to hold bundles of records submitted by others, known as blocks, in a chronological chain. The blockchain uses a form of math called cryptography to ensure that records can't be counterfeited or changed by anyone else. You've probably heard of the blockchain's first killer app, a form of digital cash called Bitcoin that you can send to anyone, even a complete stranger. Bitcoin is different from credit cards, PayPal, or other ways to send money because there isn't a bank or financial middleman involved. Instead, people from all over the world help move the digital money by validating others' Bitcoin transactions with their personal computers, earning a small fee in the process. Bitcoin uses the blockchain by tracking records of ownership over this digital cash, so only one person can be the owner at a time and the cash can't be spent twice, like counterfeit money in the physical world can. But Bitcoin is just the beginning for blockchains. In the future, blockchains that manage and verify online data could enable us to launch companies that are entirely run by algorithms, making self-driving cars safer, help us protect our online identities, and even track the billions of devices on the Internet of Things. These innovations will change our lives forever, and it's all just beginning. To learn more about the urgent future of the blockchain, please visit IF.
So the blockchain being a place that your finances can exist safely. Literally keeping a record. You know how much of a relief it is for me to be able to know that if and when I decide to send a transaction, it is always able to be found. I don't have to log into somebody else's computer or website to find it. I don't have to go to my account. I can just actually just go to the web, look it up, and it's there. Everybody can see it and verify it.
That does keep, that does help to keep things on the up and up. Everyone can see that the transaction went through, where it came from, technically where it came from, and where it went to.
And that's what I try to let people know. It's like, it seems like it's really technical, but it's not. It's really simple. It's like going back and looking at the ledger to show your bank. Look, the money came out, but I didn't do that. Where did it go? It doesn't say where it went. I want my money back. Only there is no backsies. There's no money back. This is a benefit for anyone who is running a business. And basically having to do something called Z out, or to basically render their machine at the end of the night. And even if you don't for a day, the records are still there. Now, what I was sharing with a business owner, because one of the business owners I contacted did ask me, he said, well, I hear about how volatile it is, and that you can, sometimes we don't Z out our machine the night of, and what if the price goes down for the coin that they're paying? I love that he asked me that question, because we're actually a very good question. Yes, it is. Actually, it's a very good question. And to be able to come to him with the answer that this process has a built-in security for this particular process. This process has actually been attended to by people who have seen this need and have attended to this need firsthand. So before we get into that part, I want to just share with you a little bit about about one of the reasons why you would want to be a part of what we're doing right now. And so let's get on this. I'm a big fan of Robert Kiyosaki, and I know people have, some people know who he is, some people don't. But I want to talk to you. He did an interview on Kitco. Robert Kiyosaki is someone who's been sharing with people the importance of protecting their finances, especially business owners, protecting their finances against inflation, basically, but taxation as well, and using assets like gold and silver and real estate to do it. But I know me, I'm a big follower of him, But I was like, you know, my credit isn't like that. And I don't have those kind of friends, and I'm not that kind of person. How can I do anything like that? How can I make that happen? And, you know, for a while, I really felt like that because there were really no vehicles known to me. And I really was looking. And I decided to get my act together. I said, okay, well, since my credit ain't like that, work on it, get it together. Since my, since I hadn't had any money saved, work on it. And Robert Kiyosaki was he's the biggest person to tell you that saving money is for fools, for suckers. What he meant was saving money in cash is for suckers in a bank. And he was right. Because as we just explained, the banks are making all the money off your money while you make nothing. So how do you combat that? And that's where he introduced gold and silver and even crypto now, because he's just getting into the crypto space and he's loving what it does as an asset class. And so am I. You know, I felt kind of good that I got into crypto before Robert Kiyosaki showed up. You know, it told me no, but I mean, I got to see that I had learned so much from him and how that mindset was developed by following someone who is a really, who is an avid developer of others and sharer and someone who is a successful person. I was able to follow those steps to my own prosperity thinking and actually change how my business makes money. And when it makes money, how it works, how now my money, like I did. I'm 40 years old and I own nothing. How would I be 40 years old and I could die tomorrow leaving absolutely nothing but a few dollars in the bank, bad credit and bills? And if you own a business, a mom and pop, that's a real big turn on to that someone is just going to have to take on and figure out that you left behind without any provisions to keep it going. But that doesn't have to happen. Say it again.
If you're in business, you should always have an extra strategy in the untimely event, so people know what to do with your property after, in the time of your untimely demise when you have property like that.
And we don't normally make those plans. So I'm speaking to my small business owners like myself, because honey, I'm gonna tell you something. I'm so proud of the work that I've done in studying and the work that I've done with the people that I've met. But I'm also proud to be able to present them and share them with you all. I'm able to do what Robert Kiyosaki was able to do for me. He taught forward. He paid it forward, and he consistently is getting, because instead he didn't just hide and make a lot of money and just go like the people that he's in, in communication with, where we're like, oh, let him die broke. Let him die broke. Let him work for us. Stay indebted. They didn't take the time to learn, and I'm really glad that the learning was made available, because it used to be that only those things would be only available if you knew the right people. Now, if you follow the right teachings, you follow the right folks that are sharing, and then you start taking steps, all that activity in your business is going to change. So let's get moving. I love it. We have a Kitco presentation I want to show. I did this a couple of weeks. This will probably be the last time. I just want to share with you that video one more time because it was powerful. It was quite powerful. So please be patient, with the process. There's going to be a lot of stuff here. Take notes.
Finance guru and the author of more than 26 books, including the international bestseller, Rich Dad, Poor Dad. Robert, good to have you back with us on Kitco.
Oh, thank you, Michelle. I appreciate your being part of your program. Thank you.
Well, we appreciate your insight, and we want to get those insights on this October crash. Secretary Yellen is warning that if Congress doesn't raise the debt limit by October 18th, that there'll be a financial crisis, a calamity, as she calls it. Is this what you think will trigger this October crash?
Well, I think it's already been triggered personally, because after I posted that market crash, the S&P 500 is really the S&P 7, and it's being held up by Treasury Secretary Yellen and Powell. So there's no correlation between the economy and what Yellen and Powell are doing. Now, I say one more thing is that I'm a little strange in that I like crashes. So this next crash is going to be really, really good, but it'll bring down gold, silver, Bitcoin stocks. But the good news is a crash is a good time to get rich. So that's why I'm optimistic, and I'm very optimistic on gold, silver, and Bitcoin, not on stocks.
All right. Well, let's first focus on the equity side of this crash and then talk about gold, silver, and Bitcoin. So what do you think essentially really triggers this? When you say crash, how many percentage points are you talking here? What do you anticipate?
Well, the big debate is there inflation or deflation? And if you look historically, what's happened today is the nominal debt to GDP is a correlation of M2, the volume of money, times the velocity of money.
Right.
And the reason Yellen and Powell are scrambling is because they've expanded M2, so everybody thinks there's going to be inflation. But velocity of money, which is what Jim Records and I always talk about, the velocity of money is plummeting. People are not spending. So they pump all this money in, prices go up. Meanwhile, the Asians are catching up now. The ports are finally open. So it is transitory inflation. But the problem is we're stacked with this massive debt, and all it's done is bump up the stock market and real estate market. The money has not gone into the economy. That's the sad part. So the rich get richer, but the poor and middle class are getting poorer. It is tragic what's happening today.
So what sets this off? Do you anticipate that there won't be some kind of way to raise the debt ceiling come October 18th?
Well, they can do all they like, but I'll just say it again. It's M2, which is money supply, times velocity.
Right, but what's the trigger? What is the trigger that all of a sudden destroys investor confidence, which is already a little shaky at the moment when investors really look at the fundamentals? But what's the trigger that really shatters investor confidence in the equity markets?
Well, I don't know what it'll exactly be, but you can't keep printing fake money. You know, that's M2. And the velocity of money keeps dropping, but the debt keeps going up. So you and I don't have to go to Harvard to understand that's not good. So they're just going to keep doing the same old thing. And meanwhile, you know, that's what we're doing today is actually going to kill the economy too, because you and I are now on, let's say, Zoom. So technology is going to wipe out more jobs. Like, who's going to fly? Who's going to stay at a hotel? You know, I can now do more seminars in a day. You know, I did one the other day. I did a recording in Europe. I did one in the States, and then that evening I did one in Singapore. I don't climb on an airplane? So meanwhile, they're trying to keep these dead industries afloat, and somebody's going to say, hey, it cannot go much further, and it's coming this October, because the velocity of money is now too slow. Savings are going up, spending is going down.
Well, look, I mean, technology can be deflationary, as you say, but, you know, when it comes to in-person meetings and webinars and conferences, you can't really replace that in-person connection that you get. But yeah, to your point,
Okay. So for the basics, you guys get that we're in trouble. Okay. We're in financial trouble. And most people are thinking, oh, they say this every year. Most people don't know we haven't recovered from 2008. There's been a financial cover-up trying to thin the herd and do all that they can to slow the process so that they can come up with something to put in its place. And God knows, thank God the blockchain came up. And it's so crazy because they were slow. The government, the powers that be, and the creators of the fiat or the finances were slow to create that process. They were slow to join into this process, but faster than most people because they could see where things were going with you and I. You know, I want us to be really real with each other. It is now time, because we cannot depend on the banks. There are no loans. They're not giving money. Of course, they're not giving free money. I keep getting notifications of, oh, did you get your grant? Those are scams. Please don't give people your information that you do not know for something that you did not request. And if you have, please check in on that and see if you can protect yourself. Give us the contact at p2gnetworks.com. We'll be more than happy to help you try to track that down. We run an IT company as well. So that being said, what can we do? How can we get in the game with this new secure way of doing business, changing how we fall in that financial collapse? Does it seem like we have a chance? Mr. Thomas, what you think?
Well, what I really, did you mean to have the Kitco back up?
Oh, am I sharing? Sorry about that, y'all. I didn't mean to.
Well, this is what you need to be in the know. And he said it clearly. Assets are what are going to rule the world, whether you realize it or not. He said gold, silver, and crypto. And he said, yes, there's going to be a drop in those assets, but if you understand an asset, assets are forever. They don't go anywhere. And they're always, they reduce and they grow, they reduce and they grow. And if you own these assets, you can always leverage them to position yourself to come back.
That's right.
And it's funny, I've actually studied a little bit. Kiyosaki has been broke quite a few times, and he's come back because of his assets. And when I say broke, I don't mean
broke.
When I say broke, I don't mean without money. I mean investments didn't go the way he thought, but he had assets to cover them. He had leverageable assets or leverageable commodities, for lack of a better term, to position himself to do it all over again.
So let's take a look at that, because he speaks about wealth preservation, and that's what we really want to see. How do we deal with this? What are we going to do?
Panel should potentially do in order to best protect their portfolio?
Well, that's a great question, because the only reason you'd be worried, it really goes back to what did you buy?
Yeah.
Remember, your profit is made when you buy, not when you sell. So I remember in 2000, gold went down to like 300 or something like this. I thought I died and went to heaven.
Mm-hmm.
I just backed up the truck. So when Bitcoin went to, let's say, 20,000, I was going, well, that's kind of interesting. So when it backed down to 3, then rebounded to 6, I picked it up at 6, and it's 41 today. So your profits are made when you buy, not when you sell. So if you're worried about your position, you probably bought too high.
So you're holding on to your gold, silver, and Bitcoin, clearly.
Yes.
Do you think that after this October crash happens, that there'll be significant appreciation, a significant rally of all of those assets afterwards?
I believe so. That's why I started this whole thing. I am very bullish gold, silver, and Bitcoin, but I'm very anti-Fed. And I think it's very interesting that Yellen came from the Fed. And let me repeat, Lennon, again, the establishment of a central bank is 90% of communizing a nation. That's in this book, Capitalist Manifesto. I think we better wake up, because our academics, our school teachers, are Marxist. And I'm not saying that my poor dad was a Marxist, but he didn't know it. He's a good man. He's a school teacher. But he didn't know anything about money. Nothing. And so that's what they're teaching our kids. They're teaching woke, critical race theory. I don't know what else is, sexual gendering and all that.
Okay.
Gold, silver, Bitcoin, and be okay.
So
I've been accused of
what do
being
you
a
think?
racist so many times. I go, and then I was.
What do you think about what he said? Gold, silver.
Pretty much good, because he just reiterated everything I just said a second ago.
See, and that's the thing people don't really get. We haven't been taught this. He just explained his father, his poor dad, in his book and in his life, was a Marxist, or he followed a way of thinking that, we are all going to be okay if we just get, we get that good job, and the government's going to take care of us when we retire, and that we'll be, that, as long as you do what you do, put your head down, don't make any waves, you'll be okay. And so this was why it was so important that he had a rich dad or a friend whose father took him into under his wing to teach him principles that were different. You know, he calls himself a born again capitalist. I have to agree. And I have to somewhat say myself, I am too. Pure and simple, you know, it's about the capital good, and you have to learn about money. If you're going to be in business, you have to learn about money. You have to learn about how money grows and how finances are meant to grow for themselves in your life. They are not meant for you to continuously chase after. Okay. And we want to learn about how the system that we live in works so that we can work it to winning. So for my business owners, if you're watching this, I want to make sure you understand something. This is not a sales pitch. This is not information so that you can come and do something. It's so that you will learn to continue learning about this system that has not been presented as a part of your everyday life. So with that said, I want to show you what's actually available for businesses like mine, yours, and other small businesses that may not be part of the Fortune 500, but we sure can give them a run for their money, can't we? All right.
Every time.
I love it. Let's get it popping, see how we can.
1.7 billion adults across the globe remain unbanked. 6 in 10 unbanked people have a smartphone. Everyone deserves access to financial services. Use crypto. Let's be the change.
Today I'm looking for my lunch and also to get a good drink. So I'm here in a cafe area and let's try to see what we can find. Let's get some good food and good drinks. Now we are here at a very nice coffee place that supports our XPOS device and also our XPass card. Let's buy ourselves some drinks using our XPass card. Can I have a chocolate coffee?
One chocolate coffee.
Yeah.
Chocolate coffee.
So can I pay with my Pundi XPass card?
Okay.
So what I'll do is that I'll just tap the device using the card. Here we have it. We just bought ourselves a chocolate coffee using the Pundi XPass card. Can I buy a Bitcoin using my XPass card?
Of course can.
The Pundi XPoS device not only allows me to buy coffee, it also allows me to buy Bitcoin. And we can also buy Bitcoin using mobile application. This is Pundi Pundi, and let's try to buy a Bitcoin using the application. Fifi, can I buy a 0.1 Bitcoin?
Okay.
So what I'll do is that I will use the QR code and let the XPoS device scan my QR code. So I will confirm the payment using my thumbprint. Okay, or the passcode. Here I have it. I bought myself a Bitcoin. You can actually buy coffee or Bitcoin using our XPoS device and our XPass card or our application.
All right. Mike. Now, you guys, can y'all follow it? Can you imagine going to a store and just using Bitcoin and actually getting a cup of coffee? How cool is that? As a business owner, and someone comes in the shop, can I use my Bitcoin wallet to get you to order a cup of coffee? Now, mining coffee is one of my favorite things. Coffee is one of my favorite things. So, I mean, I kind of like that. And then as a business owner, you exchange an asset for your goods. So you have a twofold win. A portion. You have a twofold win. In my eyes, it's twofold. One, someone used your business for a service that you provide. Two, you now have an asset to work with.
And one of the things we shared earlier is that this particular asset is transferable to fiat cash, just as you would be able to receive it. Someone had to pay for it. So if they could buy it, you can sell it and go back into the same cash, into the cash value. Now, that being said, you're also able to turn your own business into a bank, because now you can provide that same asset. People can pay you cash and get crypto from you right on your desktop, right on your countertop. Maybe in your business, maybe right at your barbershop chair. Can you imagine people coming to your location now because they know that they'll get Bitcoin when they come to see you? Because you now are providing more than you used to. This is called a digital asset. Welcome to the world of cryptocurrency. Welcome to the other side of the counter for a business owner. We promised you that we would help you to define a new way of doing business and find new customers.
Yep.
And this is the perfect way to. Pundi has made it available that we could use a machine we're familiar with to do something that we're not familiar with, creating a profit from our profits. Now, most of the people ask if this process is, oh my goodness. Well, the beautiful part about it, technically, when you get any cryptocurrency, and there are up to 9 different cryptos they can pay for in this machine, once it comes to you, it becomes what's called a stable coin. Now, I know a lot of this sounds like jargon, but we're not going to get into the jibber of it all. I would love to invite you to come learn on our platform how crypto works and to see it in action for you. Come into p2gnetworks.com and take a look. You have to register. You pick your own password, nothing really too personal. And you yourself, business owners and all, can come in and enjoy some of the amenities for learning, information, services, partnership with different businesses that work. We have a great network of resources at your fingertips. The idea is that we need to come together, and maybe we have to do that digitally. Mr. Thomas, you were saying, love it, love it, love it.
I do too.
Too.
I like my Bitcoin and I like it to work for me. So being a business owner and having it work for me twofold just makes all the sense in the world.
That's right.
You can use it and I think I said it earlier, you can use it to exchange for goods and services. And now you're actually, like you said, you can be now a bank, so people can come to you for crypto.
That's right. They can
now become a local distributor.
You can receive any of those 9 coins, and now you can also sell any of those
9 coins.
It's a beautiful process that we love to share with people. When we say to you that when people come in and they make purchases, it becomes a stable coin. That means it stabilizes to the dollar amount. It will no longer go up and down with the coin value that it came in with. We'll show you how firsthand. We're looking forward to doing a private workshop with those who are interested. Please do get in touch with p2gnetworks.com. We have an email and we have a phone number on our website. But in order to get to us, you're gonna have to visit. Reach out and we will reach back. For those who are just looking to find out more about what crypto is about, you definitely want to get on the site and start getting into the network of people who are growing it. So if you have any insights, share them. We love to share. We hope that everybody is feeling better about crypto now. We're hoping to be of some service in this area. And if you need more info, continue to come on Tuesday nights, Crypto in Your Business, or come and join us for one of our free workshops, because we're crypto trainers.
Yes,
and
indeed.
We've got lots of info.
Would love to have you sit in on a class.
Mr. Thomas, did you want to share anything before we have to go?
No, I think we got it all in there. I think we got it all today.
All right. So that being said, thank you. And we'll see you